The last part is the number 4 embodies the themes of steadiness, compassion, and neutrality. Being compassionate, and this is what I really have to pay attention to. Being compassionate does not mean that you let someone walk all over you. Because of the increasing mental instability on the planet, your intuition needs to alert you when it is time to break away from a conversation. And in the final words of Yogi Bhajan, when the environments let you know that you are no longer sacred there, it is time to go. That hit me so powerfully. What happens is as you get more sensitive and more in tune with your intuition and your soul, you see a lot more. You see people that are using people. You see people that lie. You see people that aren't honest. You see people that are trying to get someplace in the act of universal love really just for themselves. And when I started coming into this awareness and being more discerning, then the big challenge is, can you still love them and just see who they are, but not discriminate, which is a big difference between being discerning. You see who they are, you see what their tendencies are. Let's say you start dating somebody. You don't want to look at the tendencies, you just want it to be romantic perfect, but it usually isn't. Or you start on a work job, people seem very, very terrific. Then little by little, you get the stuff that goes on in everybody's subconscious mind. So then oftentimes we get angry or we get disappointed, or we feel like we've been betrayed or that person's been dishonest with us. But it's not true. They've always been that way. We just didn't want to look at it. So with the difference between discernment has no judgment, discrimination has judgment. And if you can create a consciousness that has discernment, you will never be disappointed. You would just say, that's their nature. And then you would bless them and pray for them. But you would also say in business, not trust them. To not get burnt on the back end. And well, I didn't know. I counsel people all over the world. A woman whose husband's having an affair for 2 years and they just didn't know. Hello, a woman knows everything. She's intuitively plugged in, but a lot of times you don't want to be. Because if you are, what are you going to do with that information? I was talking to a student and she says, my husband doesn't love me anymore and he doesn't want to be with me and I've been married years and I have children. I said, well, what are you going to do about it? She says, well, I'm afraid to bring it up. So live in the lie for years to come. So it takes a lot of bravery to live real, to not judge people, to not be discriminant. It takes a fine-tooth comb, you might say, to create the subtle mind in consciousness, but not make you negative, make you bitter, because you can become that. You can just end up saying everything's a lie. Yeah, there are some people by nature that lie all the time. They don't even know the difference anymore. But are you going to get totally bummed and let your life be wrecked because that one person is this or that, or are you going to know it ahead of time? And then you just end up, a lot of times, you don't have a window to talk with them because they don't have any windows open. So like Yogi Bhajan said, stay in the company of the holy, stay in the company of those conscious people who honor you. But at the same time, those who aren't in that circle, and oftentimes it's very small, pray for them and see what you can do. Don't isolate yourself. Does all this make sense? Yeah. It's a tough road that when you become spiritual, you follow. Living the gross road, the big wide road, it's easy, but at the end it's painful. And it's better to become discerning and to become more subtle, because that's where your happiness will come, and also your compassion. I so often say to people when they just say, oh, I hate her. That's a big, kind of a popular word in LA. Oh, I just hate her. I hate her. Her hair, whatever, that word we use. So Yogi Bhajan said, hate is forever. If you say that word about someone, it's forever. It's sunken into the Akashic records forever. It's a really, really harsh word. He also said you can never take it back again. If you say to someone, I hate you, it's there. It's in cement. It's a forever word that's being accounted for. So really, really and truly, watch your words and watch maybe less words. And when you're ready to yell at somebody or send those terrible emails because you don't have guts to yell at them, put it on hold. I'll wait till tomorrow. You have to. Otherwise, you'll make a paper trail then you'll spend your whole life, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean that, I was in a bad mood, and blah, 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 blah. But it's there. This morning, for no reason at all, that I could tell, I'm sure it'll be revealed later, I was so angry this morning. I was just beside myself, almost like in rage. I didn't know why. I had had a good day yesterday, everything seemed good, and all I could do is kind of say, well, maybe it's what the moon is tricking us into. I couldn't find out. But because I have 45 years of practice, I knew the only way out was to sit down and do my sadhana. And at the end of the sadhana, I was still as much rage and anger. Because you think you do something and then you want compensation right back for it. Like, okay, God, I did this now. Didn't happen still. Okay, what's the next thing? If I sweat and do really hard yoga. So I went to a class, and even in that class, I was mad at the teacher. How you get mad at me and teachers. Everything she said seemed so stupid, and I wanted to go, but that foundation of truth made me stay. Then I wanted to go home and just eat a lot of chocolate or do something, And yet my foundation prevailed. And now I'm sitting here and I'm starting to feel really good. But the trail and the work you have to do, but if you have no foundation, you just go and do weird stuff. So, foundation. You can't build a house on sand like it says in the Bible. It needs to be on a strong foundation, and that comes from me with the daily practice of sadhana, of rising before the sun comes up. And even if I don't feel like it, I feel like a victim, I still bow my head and say thank you. I can't even sometimes utter the thank you. This is unusual for me, this what I'm going through, but I also know at the same time there's something big going on. There's some transition going on, and if I can trust it, and that Creator is taking good care of me, I can ride it. But if you just derail all your stuff and say F it, then you're back at zero again. People say, I'll say, how are you doing? I'm really going through it. Well, I don't want to hear that much what they're going through, because everyone, but you know what? Who isn't going through it? What did you expect? You thought you're going through it, and then where were you going to be? Dead. I mean, life is going through it. Isn't that right? Whew, I got through that one. Now I'm really going through it. I mean, one thing after another. I don't know how much I can handle. My mother's sick, and then this and that, and my job. I don't know. But if you have a foundation in a daily practice, you have an anchor to go home to. No matter what happens on the outside, and if you don't, chances are you could just drift out and go nutty. And how many people are going nutty and then they run to a shrink? Can't handle it anymore. Oh, here's a little something to just get you through this time, and then you get addicted to it. You see? It's a fine-tooth comb we're living in now. And but we can do it. We can do it. So let's do what we need to do today to take you to that experience of having that foundation. Okay?